All right, hey, and good morning, everybody. It's good to be with you. We're in Loris today, and glad to be here. Always a lot of energy here. If y'all know Lisa,
Amen.
yeah,
Yes.
you know, there's energy where she is. So,
Hallelujah.
good morning. We want to talk to you a little bit today about something that you probably don't think a whole lot about, but I want you to expand your mind today, and that is how do I develop leaders? Well, as I'm looking over my notes, there's a way that I've figured out that I can improve this. So I'm going to go off script here a little bit and share it with you. And the first thing you've got to understand is to develop leaders, you've got to attract leaders. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about that. As bankers, one of the things that we always are working on are our hard skills, which means we're learning how to run systems, we're learning how to count money, open accounts, we're learning how to do credit underwriting. We're basically learning the hard skills of our job as a banker. Well, here's the thing. Where do you make money at? Do you make your money in the hard skills, learning how to do those credit memos, learning how to work systems? Is that where the money's made?
No.
No, the money's not made there. The money's made in the soft skills. And the soft skills are those ability to have relationships with people, the ability to influence people. That's where the money's made, because our business is about relationships, right? It's about people. So the thing is, to attract leaders, we've got to be attractive ourselves. We've got to be attractive to leaders. And leaders are interested in the soft skills. The hard skills are a given. Every banker in town is going to have hard skills, right? But not every banker in town is going to have soft skills. And so that's where we've got to work really hard. And here's the thing, when we get our soft skills honed, then we're going to be able to attract other leaders who have those soft skills as well. So I want to ask you this question. What are you doing to develop your soft skills? Now, one of the things that's happening, I don't teach hard skills, right? You don't see me coming in here showing you spreadsheets and giving you guidelines on how to, read a credit report or anything like that, right? So what am I teaching on? Soft skills. Yeah, I'm teaching on the soft skills. And so what I want you to understand is that you also need to be working on your soft skills. Soft skills don't just happen. Just because you get older does not mean you develop soft skills. I know a lot of folks that are even older than me, and they don't have very good soft skills. In banking, they may have excellent hard skills, that they may do their job really well, but they're not really influencing people in a real positive way. They're going through the motions in their job that they've been doing it a long time, and they're good at it, but they're not developing other leaders. So what are you doing to develop your soft skills? Well, here's what I hope you're doing. I hope you're reading some books. I hope I can say, what are you reading now? And you can tell me something you're reading or something you just finished. I hope maybe you're watching some videos. I hope you're maybe got a mentor or a coach. I hope you're doing something to develop your own soft skills, because here's the thing. How is it that you're going to really improve your market value, personally your market value? We've talked about it before, and that is the bank does not determine your paycheck. You determine your paycheck. You are the one who changes your paycheck. As your market value goes up, the market's going to recognize it. The bank then recognizes what the market recognizes and writes the check. But it's you that creates the value. So what are you doing to create the value? And I hope the answer is clear in your mind. This is what I'm doing. This is the plan that I have to develop myself. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, well, here we go. So how can you develop leaders? Let's assume we're attracting leaders. Remember, we're going to talk about some characteristics that we're looking for in a leader, but listen, if you don't have the characteristic yourself, you're probably not going to attract them. We attract who we are. That's the law of attraction. We attract who we are. So if you're not that type person, then the leaders aren't going to come to you. Does that make sense? All right, here we go. John Maxwell says this: leaders are hard to find, they're hard to train, and they're hard to hold. Why would he say that?
Because it's true.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it absolutely is. A lot of times leaders are thinking outside the box. They're trying to move forward. They're always looking for new ways to do things. Sometimes leaders upset the apple cart, right? I mean, again, they're people who are trying to move the ball, and they're finding ways to do it. And sometimes that's challenging. And they got big ideas. They want to do things a different way. So sometimes it's kind of difficult there. And listen, they're not afraid of risk. Leaders aren't afraid of risk or change, and so if you're not giving them room to take risk and change, they're probably going to find it elsewhere. So think about that from that standpoint. Listen to this. True leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders. Let that sink in a little bit, right? So I know a lot of people who want followers. I want a loyal team that's going to follow me to the ends of the earth. But guess what? Is that really going to be the best team that's going to help me accomplish what I want to accomplish?
No.
They're not, are they?
Mm-mm.
Because they're never going to buck the system. They're never going to challenge me to think different or be different. They're never going to challenge me to take risk. So I don't need followers. I need other leaders to push me to be better. So think about that. John Maxwell also said this. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. There's that team that's pushing you. You know, if I'm empowering people, then they've got the right to push me a little bit. But if I'm not empowering them, guess what? I'm the one that's pushing all the buttons and making it all happen. Think about this. Lou Holtz said this, I'm a better coach with good players.
Yeah.
So listen, I want the best team that I can put on the field, right? That's who I want with me. I don't want people that just do what I say. I want people that are going to be top notch.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the thing. Find them, recruit them, and develop them. That's our jobs as leaders. Now listen, if you're saying, I'm not really that leader person, well, you kind of are. You're influencing people. We all have leadership within us, some more than others, but the bottom line is we can all develop that leadership skill. So here's the thing, look for someone that makes things happen. Well, Richard, what does that mean? Well, follow the circle of influence. I got a little target there for you. The circle of influence. Find out what that is. Leadership is influence. So where is their influence coming from? If you want to look for someone to develop, here's what you're looking for. Character. You are looking for a person with character. Listen, you're in banking. If you don't have character, you don't have anything anyway. Yeah, I mean, our entire industry is based on trust, right? I mean, people put their money in and expect it to be there when they get here, right? And if they borrow money, they expect you to abide by the terms of the agreement. I mean, that's just trust, right? So you got to have character. But the bottom line, you've got to have it in order to attract it. If you're a person that doesn't have integrity, you're not going to attract people with integrity.
That's right. Amen to that.
Does that make sense? All right, so you got to have it. How about this? Relationships. If you're looking for someone to bring on your team or to develop as a leader, look at the kind of relationships they have. Are they developing good, healthy, positive relationships? Are they spending time with people who are moving in the same direction and in a good direction? This is good for home too, by the way.
Yeah.
Right?
Amen
You thinking
to
about?
that.
I'm thinking about my
Yeah.
kids right now. Who are they hanging out with? Right? If they're going in the wrong direction, find some different folks to hang around with. Right? But I keep telling my kids, you attract who you are. So if you keep hanging around the wrong people, maybe the problem's here. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. How about this one? Knowledge. Listen, leaders are going to know some things. It doesn't mean they're going to be necessarily the smartest people in the room, but guess what? They're going to have knowledge about what they do. And in banking, they're going to have some of those hard skills. That's just a given. And so look for those kind of folks. This is another one, communication. They've got to have the ability to communicate. Leaders have to have the ability to communicate. You got to be able to send a message and receive a message and develop some communication. So make sure you have the ability to do that, but also look for people that have the ability to do that. Here's one I really like, and that's passion. Okay, passion. Think about it. If you want to develop somebody, do you want somebody that comes in and drags in at the last minute and can't wait to get off at 5, and if you say anything about working late, they throw up their hands? If there's a project on Saturdays, oh my goodness.
You can forget it.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? If they don't have passion about what they do, they're probably not going to be good leadership material. Listen, leaders are passionate about what they do. I mean, they get excited about it. And if you start asking, what are you doing, or what's going on in your life, guess what they're going to talk about? You're going to talk about what's on your heart. You're going to talk about what you're passionate about. So if you want to develop a leader and you're in banking, then when you start talking about what they're doing in their career, guess what they should be talking about? their career, right? Something in banking, what they're passionate about doing. So look for that. But here's the thing, you got to have it too, right? You've got to have it too, because again, if you're passionate about your career, you're going to attract people who are passionate about their career. If you don't give 2 cents about your career, then you're going to attract people who don't give 2 cents about their career. All right, y'all getting long faces looking at me now, all right? So, does that make sense?
In, that's what it is.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well, thank you.
We're trying
That
to
makes me
change,
feel a lot
brother.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the thing, be passionate and you'll attract passionate people. Think about this, you need somebody with some experience. Now listen, as you're developing leaders, not everybody, especially young folks, they're not going to have a lot of experience, but as a leader to develop them, it's your job to help them gain the experience. That's that empowering piece of it, right? You show them how to do it, you hand it off and let them do it. Okay, that's the empowering piece. All right, past success, you look at people who've done well, whatever that may be, even if it's a young person. Maybe they did well in high school and you're hiring them in. I just got a text message from somebody who just got in the National Honor Society. Well, yeah, that's a sign of success. That's a good experience, right? So if that's the case, then that's going to look good on their resume. So as you're hiring people and you're looking for potential leaders, there you go. Just one more thing. Here's another one, obviously, is ability. Okay? People have to have some ability. You got to recognize that. But here's the thing, you've got to have ability. You've got to develop your ability as well. All right, right in the middle of the page here, the key to successful leadership is influence, not authority. That's by Ken Blanchard. Now, think about this. The motto for many, many years, and then early in my banking career, it was authority. If you had the position, that's all you needed. You told people what to do, people did it. That was just the way it was. What's happening today? Does that model work well?
No.
No, it doesn't, does it?
No.
Doesn't work well. So now what happens is we have to use our influence, because people really don't care about your titles anymore. The titles sound good, but you know what? It really is not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Not, especially, I'm seeing most of the young people go, no.
Yeah.
The titles really isn't it. I mean, it really is about your influence. They see what you do. They know how you are about things. They know who you are. And that relationship that you have is really what's driving things in our industry today, and even in the workforce today. So think about that. Think about that. It's influence, not authority. So here's what people skills do. John Maxwell says this: good leaders like people and people like them. I know some people who have positions but really don't like people. Think about it. You know, if you've got somebody in authority even in your bank, and they just go in their office and the door's shut 40 hours a week, what does that tell you?
They won't be closed off.
Yeah, they're not interested, right? I know of I worked for some folks that had that same mentality. They kind of had the executive suite, and the doors stayed locked, and you couldn't get in unless you had the code, and you only could come in by appointment, and you just couldn't get in there, and you just didn't call. I mean, they were isolated. It's kind of like they were here and you were here. Guess how that worked for everybody? What did everybody think? Do you think most people in the bank thought that they liked them, cared about them? Maybe we're at a different level than they were, right? I mean, you kind of see where I'm going with that? It sends a message. It might not be true, but it certainly sends a message. That's the perception. And in our world today, perception is often our truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be thinking about those kind of things. You've heard me use this story before, but this was 100 years ago. But Andrew Carnegie paid a guy named Charles Schwab $1 million for his people skills, for his soft skills. He didn't know much about the steel industry, but he knew a lot about people. He knew a lot about people. Listen, here's how much that matters. Somebody said, Mr. Schwab, how many names do you know? You must know 5,000 names. He just smiled and he said, I know 50,000 names. So do you see how important the people skills were? He took the steel company that he was hired in to number 2 in the world. Number 2 in the world. Right? So it makes a huge difference. But he didn't know anything about steel, but he knew something about people. So it makes a big difference. So here's what Dale Carnegie said. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. Think about that. What's our motive a lot of times when we're trying to develop a relationship with a potential client, for instance?
Get a business.
Get their business, yeah. Is that what we really need to be thinking about now? What should we really be thinking about? If I'm going to go in and talk to somebody about getting business, what's on my mind? Yeah, what they need, but I have what they need, right? Or I think I do,
Yeah.
right? So I go in and what am I liable to do if I'm not careful? I'm liable to do what? Throw up all over them,
Yeah.
right? About how great our bank is and how many products we've got and how great our loans are and what our rates are and what our terms are and what our fees are. I just go on and on and on, right? And I just pour it out there because, boy, this is what they need, and I just lay it on them. But what should I be doing?
Finding out about them.
Yeah, I should be focused on them. What do they need, right? That's the whole key to it, is finding out what they're interested in and developing the relationship. Because what will happen is if I've got the relationship, then what comes next?
Selling
The
products.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, the business comes next. But if you're not careful, we do what? We kind of get self-centered and we focus on the deal, right? We focus on the business. So make sure, it doesn't matter if you're in teller line and customer service, it doesn't matter if you're it's a loan, focus on the people, all right? Focus on your clients. And it'll make a huge, huge difference in the impact on your bottom line, all right? Think about that. Here we go. Leaders attract people, okay? Leaders attract people. At the top of the last page here, leaders add values to others. Takers, all right, this is givers and takers. Takers ask, what are others doing for me? How about that? Listen, you might even be in your marriage and ask that, what are you doing for me? Okay, well, I'm not even going to go there then. All right, so here we go. Givers ask, what am I doing for others? Think about that.
Yeah.
What am I doing for you? Listen, if I'm going to have a great marriage and I'm looking at my wife, asking what she's doing for me is the wrong question.
Mm-hmm.
The right question is, what am I doing for you?
Yeah.
Because if I'm doing all the right things for her, then she's going to do what?
Do it for you.
Yeah, same thing in banking. If I'm asking the right question to the client, you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to get the right question back. All right. Takers see team members as something they own. But givers see team members as people on loan. All right? Takers consolidate power for personal gain. Givers share power for the sake of the team. All right? Because we can do more together than we can separate. Everybody's nodding, yes, okay, yeah, so that's the idea. Here's a little quote for you. If you allow people to make more withdrawals than deposits in your life, you will be out of balance and in the negative.
Amen.
Know when to close the account.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. As you're trying to develop leaders, not everybody has the desire to be a leader. I'll give you an example. I had a lady that worked for me one time, and man, I was so excited. I'd been kind of developing her. I thought she was ready to step up, and well, I was fired up. And so I was going to offer her something big. I was going to give her an opportunity to move into a higher position, into a management position, probably double her salary, really just kind of set her career on fire. I was just absolutely stoked about it. I mean, just stoked. I'd been wanting this for her because she had been very, very good to me over the years, wanted this to happen to her. Guess what happened? I went in, laid it out. I didn't think I had to do a sales job on it. I just laid it out. But guess what?
She didn't want it.
She didn't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked at me like, have you lost your mind? I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't. That's not what I want to do. And I'm just like, the air's out of my tires. I'm like, what? Really? But I missed it, right? It was what I wanted, not
Yeah.
what, it's the wrong question, right?
Yeah.
It was what I wanted for, not what she wanted. So think about that.
Yeah.
And so you've got to know your people and know if they want to go where you think they need to go. So ask that question. Some leaders are takers. They beat others up and play the system to win. Their influence is negative and their impact is negative long term. Point is, don't be one of those people. Do an honest self-assessment and look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, am I playing the system? Is it about me? And if it is, then you need to change that, all right? Because it's not going to have a good impact long term. You're not going to be as effective as you need to be. All right, so here's another one. Leaders take chances and finish things. So when you're trying to look for leaders, make sure you find people who are finishing things.
Yeah.
A lot of times people will get a good start, but they never go any further with it. And you wonder what happened. Well, leaders are going to finish things.
Yeah.
All right? They want closure. They want to see a win. They want it chalked up. So make sure that your folks that you're developing are doing that. All right, here's another one. Many start well, few finish well.
Yep.
Few finish well. Listen, don't coast. As you're developing younger talent and bringing people on board, don't coast. It's real easy once you're kind of successful in your career to hit the cruise control.
Yeah.
But don't do that, because when you're developing leaders, they see you cruising. What does that tell them to do?
Not to do nothing.
Yeah,
Not
you're
to be
mentoring
nobody.
them.
Yeah.
And so what's happening is whether you mean to or not, you're mentoring them because they're watching you. And so if you're cruising, then they're going to do what? They're going to cruise, right? We just don't realize the influence. Let's use our personal lives, for instance, and I'll stop right here. But my wife has got a poor eating habit. She eats a bowl of Fruity Pebbles or Cocoa Pebbles for supper every night. Not good. That's not healthy, all right? So guess what my youngest daughter does?
Does the same thing.
Yeah, my wife told her, don't do this. This is what I do, but you don't do this. You don't do this. Well, she's 19. Guess what she does?
Yeah.
Bowl of Fruity Pebbles for supper every night. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people are going to do what they see, right? And so if you're developing younger talent, they're going to do what they see. So I'm going to finish with this and just encourage you. When you're developing talent, you've got to be the real deal in order to attract the real deal. All right? You can't attract what you're not. You can't attract what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to attract who you are. So make sure as you're trying to develop talent that you are also that talent. If you're going to attract leaders, you've got to be a leader. All right, thank y'all. Hope y'all have a great day today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.